You're listening to Bridge the Gap Podcast, the Industry Spotlight Series. In this episode, OneDay co-founder and CEO Clint Lee discusses the features of the new 4.0 experience, which includes personalized connections, lead communication, and more. Welcome to Bridge the Gap Podcast, the senior living podcast on a special industry spotlight edition on the Bridge the Gap network. We want to welcome good friends of ours and great longtime supporter, Clint Lee. He's the CEO of OneDay here in Dallas, Texas. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
You guys have grown. That's pretty much an understatement. And, so many of our listeners, not only do they know OneDay, they're using OneDay in their communities. And so it's really fun for us to connect you to our listeners here on the Bridge the Gap network on this special industry spotlight where we get to dive in to a little bit more of the details around the why behind your company, some of the history, and then more importantly, we want to talk about the future. So Clint, you're at the helm there. You've been there since day one. You've learned a lot and you guys have grown. Talk to us around kind of the why behind OneDay.
Absolutely. Yeah. So our why and mission is to make sure that nobody's story goes untold. And that's kind of what got us started is showcasing the amazing stories of the residents in the space and in the senior living industry. And we've grown and evolved our technology platform, specifically through video, the past 5 years that we've served the senior living industry. I grew up in the space more in senior healthcare with my family kind of starting in that. So I grew up around it. And it's just been awesome to see the industry take it and run such an important mission and turn it into something that's been unreal. It's been an incredibly rewarding journey to just be a part of.
Well, I was just going to kind of jump in there, Clint, because, I feel like not only have we been watching you at Bridge the Gap grow, but I think over the last year or so, obviously the spotlight has been cast on the senior living industry, on the teams and the work that they're doing, on the resident stories as you guys were designed to kind of showcase. Like, how has that positioned your platform? It's almost like you were built for that time and place. And so maybe give us a little bit of insight on how you guys have come alongside the industry to help spotlight the heroes over the last year that were already heroes, but the heroes really kind of rose to the top. And as that spotlight was there, you guys were there to help showcase that.
Absolutely. I think as an entrepreneur, it's your dream to be able to help people at a time of need. And there's no silver lining to a pandemic. It was a really rough year for a lot of people, especially the senior living industry and its residents. For us, we were a video company that helped connect people virtually to showcase a community outside their four walls in a couple thousand communities before everything happened. And we had raised capital and set ourselves up to scale as the business the year before. So we were in a position to be able to help at a time when people couldn't come into the community and see what was going on and have peace of mind that their loved ones were okay and being taken care of, and also showcase the amazing things the staff were doing to go above and beyond. So we were just the vehicle and tool to help nearly 5,000 properties across the globe use video to, again, create genuine connections with prospects, also at the same time provide peace of mind to the family members of all the measures that they were taking in the community to keep their residents safe. And then also just shining a spotlight on the amazing people in the space, because it really was incredible to see what they did. So we were just happy to play a small part and help in any way we can. I think, I wouldn't, when they talk about, the technology revolution in the senior living space, there's always been innovative people in the senior living space. And I'm a firm believer that, people will use technology if you build it right to solve the problems that they have. And I think I wouldn't call it a technology revolution. I would say that people in the industry had to lean on technology more in the past than they had. And they're able to see where technology helped, and it helped unlock inefficiencies in their business. And then I would say that we figured out in ways that technology isn't something they should lean into. So I feel like it definitely made video an important part of it, and it was before, just because video provides a context to stories, and stories connect people, and this is a human to human industry where it's all about improving the resident experience. So yeah, that's kind of where we've evolved to.
Video is not easy for everybody to use. We're going to talk about innovation and technology, but you guys have addressed some of the barriers and some of the friction points and challenges. For people, it's one thing to just pull out your phone and take a video, but it's another thing to actually make it more professional and package it, but then also make that seamless. Talk to us about the features of the OneDay app.
Absolutely. Yeah. So there's a couple we have a flywheel that we've kind of created and what it is it's almost like a one page that makes it digestible and how video can be used in your different departments to drive a path to full occupancy. And we have a mobile app, any type of app that you can use on any of your devices that allows you to take the headache out of video. It can be prompted if you'd like it to guide you through it, or you can just get right into shooting the video. And we'll help sales reps use video in their process, their sales process, to personalize, create a prospect follow-up, create virtual tours, send videos to online leads. And then really they record the video, they plus create movie, and in less than a second, it creates a nice, beautiful branded yet authentic video with music, with your logos on it. And it makes it really easy for you to send and track where that video goes, when the person, that one-to-one video is being watched and interacted with. And that's what our new Senior Living 4.0 experience that we're launching this week is taking it a step further. Because as you mentioned, when we started out 5 years ago, we've evolved and grown up a lot since then. And that's really just a testament to our 5,000 amazing partners that we've listened and what they've wanted to do with our platform and the areas that we can make easier. Because as long as you can create the videos and their quality, the opportunities at that point are really endless on what you can do to showcase the amazing things you're doing and provide a differentiation to your community. And that's all we're trying to do. And so we're really excited about launching the new platform.
So you called that Senior Living 4.0, is that right?
Yep, 4.0, 4.0. You're going to see we have kind of an unveiling of it on Thursday that we're really excited about this week. Our in-house engineering and product team has completely rebuilt our platform from scratch. Because as we're scaling, as a technology company, you have to figure out what's next and where you're headed pretty frequently. And this is kind of our next gen platform that's going to make video even easier, faster. It comes with instant two-way messaging with prospects to make it to where you can send videos and respond really quickly, a streamlined notification process, and a really robust granular analytics platform to help you see in what ways videos can help in the sales process, can add value to your community. Because we're not naive enough to think that sending a video is going to get someone to move into your property. All it is a tool to help you tell a story and put your narrative around that story and figure out where's the right time to place that story in a human to human sales process to build trust and a genuine connection to find the right people to move into your communities. That's what I would say if we boil it down, what our tech helps you do.
So practically speaking, okay, you guys have what I would consider huge market share. I think you mentioned 5,000 or more partners. It's growing by the day, but we have a fast growing industry. And I know some of our listeners probably have not gotten into video, and they're not utilizing, maybe even not using OneDay. Talk to that listener for just a minute from an educational standpoint, maybe what they should be thinking about, why they should be thinking about if their community is not using digital video to tell their stories, to share stories. What are the 5,000 people that are doing that now? What have they realized that other listeners should be realizing?
Absolutely. Really good question. What I would say, just like many industries, your buyer is changing. right? And they're evolving, and especially with everything that's transpired this past year, people are going online and wanting to get a glimpse into your world, into what services you provide, what life would be like in your community, pricing, all the things that other industries you can go online and find, right? And so as that buyer, that resident, that person evolves in the way that they want that experience to be like, we as operators and providers, we're tech people, but we work with them, have to evolve as well. And what video does is it provides a context to a story at a cost-effective and scalable way when done properly. Now, don't get me wrong, recording videos on your phone and all that is a step. It's a start in the right direction. It's really hard to scale that and gain insights into what people are connecting with your messaging when you are doing one-off videos like that. But putting a video strategy in resident engagement, in internal communications with your staff, and in sales and marketing, there's different playbooks for that can really help you drive connections faster, showcase the amazing things your staff are doing, your programs, the initiatives that you're already invested in to maximize the ROI that you're paying for those things in a quick and easy way. And you don't have to hire videographers. You don't have to hire people on staff. That's where we kind of act as our client success advisors, of helping our clients define what they want to accomplish with video, because it's not a one size fit all thing, right? I tell people all the time, video in day one is very different from video in year 3 of what you've been doing. But the first step is the education of why video can help drive sales, build connections in your communities. And then the next step is being able to create quality content and execute on that, because we know that they're busy and they don't have all day to sit around and make videos in the community. And there's a lot of must-dos in the space. And then once you have that video, being able to have enough analytics and insights and to make informed decisions and leverage that video online to expand your digital footprint.
So me and Lucas, we go into a lot of different types of communities, a lot of different size communities, a lot of different operators. If I'm out there listening and, I'm a smaller operator, is there any reason why a small operator, maybe it's even a single owner operator that's listening to this, maybe feeling a little bit discouraged and overwhelmed because they don't have, a large team, maybe they don't even have a marketing department, and they're just like, how am I ever going to be able to do this and have the bandwidth? Is this something that any size community can implement, or is this just kind of something that you're going to need a lot of infrastructure to be able to onboard a system like this?
No, really good question again. It's definitely something you can do. I know you have to be really intentional with your time and your efforts, and especially budget of what you do at that community size. But we have partner communities of all different levels of size and acuity levels. And I'll tell you, I'm really familiar with these smaller, more intimate group communities. Growing up, my dad they were kind of ahead of its time in the 90s, smaller residential assisted living homes that were had 4 or 5 residents living in with a live-in caregiver, right? 3 days on, 3 days off type of stuff. And, I grew up doing grocery runs of those and mowing lawns and being Santa Claus at their Christmas parties. And I remember how tight budget was and time and resources. What I would say in that scenario is they're already doing holiday parties. They're already doing a lot of the engagement stuff that the other communities are doing, and maybe on a smaller scale, but it's still equally as impactful. And there's still loved ones who would love to have insight and be able to have that experience sent to them to share with. I'm a big fan of small steps, so like actionable things that they could do. 15 minutes, right? Have your phone, record 15 minutes a week of just some of the highlights. And then put it out on social media, send it to some family members, see what they think, and gather insights through that way if you're doing it manually. They could also do it with OneDay, and there's some playbooks that we have on being able to leverage video to keep their communities full and connect with prospects and get people to come see them. And then also just more for the overall resident experience and capturing their life stories so they get to know their residents on a more personalized level. So they know what makes them smile on a bad day, what their pet peeves are, what they grew up doing. Those types of things help them provide a more personalized level of care. And that's really what it's all about. Again, it goes back to the experience and storytelling. So 5 residents, 100, 300 residents, that's what it boils down to. And then being very intentional with time and the level of effort that you need to be able to do it, because it can't be high or it won't get done.
Oh, I love that. So I want to jump in a different direction, and Lucas, then I'll shut up and let you talk. But so Clint, kind of like something that intrigues me is team composition, right? You're growing a business, a successful entrepreneur, and one thing that's always really interesting to me is kind of hearing from the CEO's perspective, like team composition, particularly in our industry, a lot of businesses don't understand that if you build your whole team around a niche industry, some people say niche. Have you ever heard that? Some people say niche, I say niche. I don't know what y'all say, but you get what I'm saying. But when you build your team around that, like you're in the tech world and you're out there recruiting, what do you find and how do you get people that are really obviously very passionate about senior living from the tech world? Is there like this whole assimilation of culture to where they really have to learn senior living and you kind of bake that into them? Or do you find that people are like coming to you like, oh yeah, I've been looking for senior living and found you? Like, what's that like?
No, that's another good question. I could talk about this all day because I love this part of it. And when we started out in SaaS technology and senior living, now we have a product called Convey by OneDay in the multifamily real estate product, a product called Reflect by OneDay in the funeral home industry, all SaaS related, right? But point is we were intentional about building a team, and even our investors with the right group that understood the space, because there's an interesting, you have to understand what they're going through at a day-to-day operations level to be able to add value. But a lot of our people, I think, come from outside the senior living space as well. And it's actually been really beneficial and a breath of fresh air, because I think when you have a mission of connecting people through stories, you end up attracting the right type of people. And you have to be authentic, and to be someone's storytelling partner, that's such an important part of it. And so I think we're fortunate that it attracts the right people, and we have that fun blend of the tech, high-paced energy. It's always changing, it's challenging, and fun with also the service-oriented part of helping improve the resident experience of our country's greatest generation, in my opinion. And so that you get really creative, competitive, and empathetic people. And so we've built our team, and it's grown, and now we're almost 50 employees, mainly in Dallas and some in Austin. But we're starting to grow the team around the country. And then as we expand in other verticals, again, we go and bring in people from those space that understand it, and make sure we have that balance of tech as well, because it's really important to have, I think, a fresh set of eyes of how other industries are using technology and in ways that we can use technology better.
That's so awesome. Lucas, I could geek out all day, talking about team structure and things like that. I know you do as well. What do you think about all this?
Yeah, I think the opportunity for people in the senior living industry to leverage technology, especially technology like this, where you've got the support of OneDay to help teach and train you on such a user-friendly app experience. It's a great thing when you tie that back into telling these love stories, sharing these legacy stories, so that people can connect in this community and in this way. We really appreciate Clint and your team there at OneDay for being great supporters of the Bridge the Gap Network. You know, our mission is to educate, inform, and influence, and we couldn't do what we do without people like you telling those stories and helping support BTG. We really appreciate it.
No, I can't tell y'all enough. Since day one, I've seen what y'all are doing. I really support it. I think there needs to be more of it. They're great for the space. It's helping us all move it forward and improve it. And we're proud to play a small part, and we're going to continue to innovate. We have some other big things we're coming up with later this year that we're excited to announce. And OneDay is just getting started serving the senior living industry.
Awesome. Well, we can't wait to hear more about that. Clint Lee, CEO of OneDay here in Dallas, Texas, a great supporter of BTG on the program today, and an industry spotlight, telling the stories and keeping those legacies going. Thank you for being on the show today, Clint.
Hey, thank you so much for your time. Y'all have a great day.
And thanks for everyone for listening to another great episode of Bridge the Gap.
Thanks for listening to the Bridge the Gap podcast, the Industry Spotlight series. Learn more about OneDay at btgvoice.com.